The Marines have reached Mars, and all-out war is about to be unleashed. Do the Marsies stand a chance of survival? It's time to talk about, analyze, review, break down, and rant about the For All Mankind episode, Sons and Daughters.
Spoiler alert! Shields up!
So, Lilith and Alex are riding Alex's bike on the surface of Mars.
Whatever for?
Unsure. Last time we saw them, they were interviewing the singing guy.
Well, maybe they got there by
I
bike.
guess we'll have to go with our interpretation. Anyway, as they ride during the sandstorm, they see 3 M6 Marine shuttles arriving.
More than 3, there's a bunch of them.
And, Haskell and Avery are there with them.
What? How? Boyd and Polivanov blew up the asteroid's landing pad, so it should have prevented anyone getting on or off that asteroid, and, by association, destroyed the shuttle they came on. So, does that mean their mission was pointless and the Marines took control of the asteroid anyway? Is that what we're going with?
I'm in as much in the dark as you are, McCluck. This is just the first couple of minutes of the episode.
All I'm saying is, that does not bode well. In any case, we don't have time to check what's going on in Happy Valley, as we need to catch up with Kelly and the gang on Titan.
And they're just traveling to the sample site.
There's this weird confusion about not having traveled where they were expecting to.
Well, that's probably because they're referring to compass headings like north and northwest, when Titan doesn't have a magnetic core being enveloped in Saturn's instead.
You'd think explorers who traveled over 1 billion kilometers would know that.
You'd think.
Well, anyway, they found their rover robot and set about getting to work.
There's some weird stuff over the conducting cables which Kelly grabs a sample of, while Walt recovers the main sample, which is the reason why they're there in the first place. That weird stuff, coupled with the rover not necessarily being where it was supposed to be, and the team not even having their shutters open to see outside when they're working on the samples, all screams to me that life on Titan is gonna be bigger than expected.
Well, that's gonna be exciting. Come on, McCluck, if your guess is correct, why wouldn't the away team have noticed anything on their way to the rover?
Oh, yeah, there is that.
In any case, Sojourner contacts the away team, expressing their worry Mars hasn't yet sent them their launch trajectory for them to get back home.
Why is that a concern exactly? I mean, they just got here. They're not gonna head back after just having got one sample, surely. Plus, don't they have to make fuel to get back home? And isn't this an 18-month mission, meaning they should be staying on Titan for 6?
Your guess is as good as mine, McCluck. But this concern about Mars's apparent radio silence brings us back to what's happening over there.
And what's happening is the Marines' shuttles are about to land. Really? When we left them, the Marines were 30 seconds out. You're telling me the Titan crew traveled to the sample site, got out, found the sample, returned to their portable lab, and started the analysis all in under that time?
I think time works in different ways on the 2 planets, story-wise.
You think?
And if you have an issue with that, Alex and Lilith managed to get to the base before the Marines' shuttles, despite the fact that they were faster and they were overtaking them at the very start of the episode.
Great iridescent egg. It's gotta be one of those stories, isn't it?
Let's give it a chance and see where it goes.
It's your funeral.
So, as they're running through the base, they tell people the Marines are on their way, and those people are, super shocked.
Why? Why would they be? Weren't they told Marines were on their way?
You'd think.
Did they think blowing up the asteroid's landing pad would make them just turn around and go home?
Maybe. On the plus side, they're arriving with a bunch of shuttles, unlike the 4 people they dispatched to take control of the asteroid.
People, which they have now recovered and sent to Mars.
Yep. 1 emotionally damaged Marine and 1 whose allegiances are highly questionable, both of whom were on the asteroid when it blew.
It all makes sense.
But of course it does.
So the Marines have secured the reactor, cut the power, and fighting is happening north and south of the base.
Again with directions based on a planet having a magnetic field. Just like Titan, Mars doesn't have one.
Well, that's just a minor thing, Doc. Plus, it helps the viewers understand what's happening geographically.
I suppose it does.
Plus, this isn't hard sci-fi anymore, Doc.
As long as it doesn't veer into fantasy.
So, a handful of Happy Valley Corps meet up, which includes Alex and Lilith.
Alex is given a gun despite the fact he has no experience, and Lilith is charged with recording everything.
And there's really no time for anything else, as a bunch of Marines reach their position.
Oh, this is going to be stressful.
You're telling me the appointed leader of that little gang is shot dead as he asked the Marines to hold their fire.
Shit!
That's pretty much how everyone there is feeling.
Thankfully, Boyd and a few others arrived to help them retreat. From asteroid bomber to defender of the base, that girl's everywhere.
But Alex gets separated from the others.
Well, that can't be good.
It isn't, as he's now behind enemy lines. The base is totally overwhelmed, which is a sensible strategy from the Marines' point of view. Makes you wonder, though, why they didn't apply that tactic when they tried to take over the asteroid.
Maybe they'd read the script and knew it was gonna blow.
Ha! Maybe. And while all this is going on, what are Palmer and Dev and all those guys in the Helios compound doing?
We aren't told, and in any case, it's time to check in on Titan.
What? In the middle of this war?
Well, we can't leave them doing their stuff without us seeing it.
And we learned that Sojourner's making fuel and we'll have enough in 24 hours.
Damn, that's some efficient fuel creation.
But why are they in such a hurry?
Well, the sample they came all this way to find is inconclusive for life.
So, that's just one sample. They came all this way and they're just gonna give up at the first hurdle? Plus, what is all that weird stuff on the rover's electric cables?
I don't think they checked those yet.
And they're not thinking about that anyway, Doc, as the away team suggests climbing a rock face to find better samples. Climbing a rock face? I'm sure it'll be fine.
We'll leave them to get ready for that as we check back on Mars.
The Marines make their way pretty much unopposed. I mean, it's like the base is completely deserted.
Ambush?
You got it. For a few seconds anyway. The Happy Valley rebels are no match and they keep getting shot. Avery even shoots one of them. Well, that's not gonna help with her degrading mental health.
And what's Haskell thinking about all those dead Marsies?
Oh, he's just following orders, Doc.
Meanwhile, Alex gets out from where he was hiding since Marines didn't leave anyone behind to secure the areas they'd been through and comes across a wounded comrade.
Well, good thing he's a medic.
And in good old medic tradition, he uses gaffer tape to bind a wound.
I'd love to know where the idea that gaffer tape is good for medical emergencies came from. We see it in so many movies and shows.
Well, maybe it's because film crews and actors are always surrounded by the stuff, so why not incorporate it into their story?
Makes sense. In a nonsensical kind of way.
Meanwhile, a member of the Titan away team is struggling to climb that rock face.
Why are they struggling exactly? Titan's gravity is 14% that of Earth's. It should be a piece of cake.
Doc.
Yes, McCluck?
This isn't a hard sci-fi show anymore. Hasn't been for a couple of seasons.
Well, anyway, Elena's trying to get a sample, sees some kind of glowing liquid just a few meters away from her position, tries to get there, but punctures her suit.
It's been a while since we had a suit puncture. So much for those new Titan suits being nice and sturdy. And back on Mars, more shuttles are landing.
Don't see how Happy Valley have any chance, really.
It certainly doesn't look good for them.
To think the Marines could have waited a couple of weeks and this population would be starving and they wouldn't have had to kill anyone.
And it's not like they didn't know the situation since they were being advised by Palmer. Where is Palmer anyway?
He's right there, McCluck, ambushing Boyd and the people she was leading to safety.
And apparently, Palmer's operating under the Geneva Convention, which means he's taking them prisoner rather than just shooting them.
Shame that didn't stop the Marines straight up killing people.
Those people didn't have as much plot armor as Boyd and Lilith, GG.
True.
Meanwhile, Alex made it to sickbay somehow, and our good Russian doctor commends him on the good job he did gaffer taping that woman's wounds.
This is just sending the wrong message to the audience. Folks, it is not recommended to use gaffer tape or any other industrial adhesives directly on a wound. These tapes are not sterile. They can cause skin irritation, allergic reactions, or further tissue damage when removed.
This is a don't try this at home situation.
Well, unless you're desperate, I guess.
There is always that.
Well, if that's the case, put some other kind of cloth between the wound and the tape, using the gaffer tape to hold the cloth in place. Apparently, Alex wasn't taught that in his first week of training. Bunch of amateurs.
Medbay's actually running out of, everything, really.
Already?
You'd think they would be prepared for this.
Well, that's because Dev and Palmer stole most of their supplies, and Alex volunteers to get it back.
On his own? There's tons of stuff they need.
Meanwhile, as Palmer's leading his prisoners to wherever they're going, he just happens to tell Lilith that her father ratted his people out during the 03 riots.
Just like that?
Just like that.
I mean, it's finally out in the open, but it's got to be the weirdest way for it to have come out. And does Lilith believe him?
She might not. In any case, we then cut to Titan as Kelly's climbed the rock face, reached Elena, patched her pursuit, and she's now coming down.
It all looks so much more difficult than it actually should be considering the moon's tiny gravity.
And as Elena's going down, Kelly eyes that weird glowing liquid.
But there's no time to check on that just yet, as back on Mars, the Marines capture a bunch of people, including Polivanov, who promptly uses his position to, apparently, switch sides.
Why, apparently?
Well, come on, he was part of the team that blew up the asteroid landing pad, remember?
For all the good it did.
Be that as it may, I wager he's still likely on the side of Happy Valley.
And while that's happening, Alex is making his way to the Helios compound, but he gets too close to the Palmer's team, so he hides. But Palmer hears a noise, and while he and the others check in Alex's direction, Fred who was leading up the rear, lets Boyd and the others escape.
What? Why?
Boyd's as confused as you are, but they don't wait too long to skedaddle.
Palmer and a few others get closer to Alex's hiding place.
Alex is gonna have to do something if he's about to get caught.
Oh no!
And just then, the Marines show up.
As if his situation wasn't bad enough!
But it's not actually bad. For Alex, Gigi, those trigger-happy Marines just shoot their allies dead.
Weren't they told they had allies on the base?
They should've.
Bunch of bloody grunts.
They actually knew peacekeepers were on their side. They identified themselves as peacekeepers, but the Marines just shot at them anyway.
Stupid trigger-happy grunts. It'll be good intel for Alex to share when he gets to Dev, I guess.
I'm sure Dev will just switch sides just like that.
Wanna place a wager?
No, as I said, I'm sure he will.
Oh, you weren't being sarcastic.
There's no room for sarcasm in this script, Gigi.
At least Palmer got to tell someone Del was a rat before he died.
Talk about painting yourself in a corner with an ongoing season-long threat and just passing the message on in the most unrealistic of ways.
So, Haskell and Avery hand over their prisoners to the French M6 Marines and set off to look for their unit, heading into tunnels because Haskell's knows shortcuts.
Yeah, it seems the French unit don't have the right map.
That'll probably become important later on as they get lost.
Making fun of my compatriots like that. That is discrimination. Sorry, Patrick, you know what they say about the French military anyway. Their tanks have 5 gears, 2 forward and 3 reverses. That is not funny, Mouse. And anyway, that is what they say about the Italians. Anyway, Haskell and Avery make their way through the tunnels, and so does Alex.
That's gotta be explosive.
You're not wrong, McCluck.
Haskell finds Alex. Alex shoots him on instinct before realizing who he is. He then attempts to help him as Avery gets there, sees what he's doing, and wisely chooses not to shoot Alex.
First sensible thing she's done all day.
Haskell is very badly wounded.
Alex is a damn fine shot under intense pressure.
He's too badly wounded. They need to take him to get treated.
Where? Where?
To Dev's compound.
And that's where we end the episode.
So, that was like, 42 minutes of story.
Okay, well, I'd like to start with the best thing in this episode. Alex. His shock at what's going on, with his determination to keep going despite him being so very severely psychologically affected by everything that's going on around him, including the many deaths he's witnessed, was excellent. You could really feel his growing trauma, how he isn't really fully there but just going on instinct.
And that's about it. There's zero explanation how Haskell and Avery got off the asteroid. Timing issues are all over the place, and considering how much of an overwhelming force the Marines are, with multiple waves landing on Mars, it's a puzzle how they haven't got control of the base by the end of the episode.
Well, there's also Palmer telling Lilith about her dad's supposed betrayal.
Well, from his point of view. Exactly. As Lilith herself said, he was being tortured. How can you blame someone for ratting anyone out if they're being tortured, especially a civilian? How has this been a season-long threat?
And why would Fred let Boyd and the others go?
So they wouldn't get shot by the Marines.
Yeah, he must have read ahead in the script.
His about turn came out of nowhere and made no sense. And speaking of not making sense, just before that happened, Palmer had trouble communicating with the Rios compound. They just weren't answering, which could make the audience think Dev's hideaway had been breached or something. Except by the end, we see that wasn't the case, as Alex got there with Avery and the wounded Haskell, and it was still totally secure. So what was that about?
I think I can answer that one. It's because the Marines who eventually killed Palmer and his team were nearby, and we were told earlier that they had some kind of jamming devices to disrupt communications.
Ah, okay. Good catch, Commander. So, it's not all bad writing then.
Speaking of bad writing, what's going on Titan? We were told a few episodes ago that that mission would last 18 months. We then learned it took Sojourners 6 months to get to Titan. Add in 6 more months to get back, that leaves 6 months on the moon itself. So why is there continuous talk of them leaving, with the fuel tanks being filled in 24 hours? Did they really just come to check on a single sample? Who would plan a mission like that?
Those writers would, it seems.
And not only have they ignored the lasting effects of being 6 months in 0G, it seems the gravity on Titan is pretty much Earth-like, when it should be a seventh of that.
I'm guessing they couldn't afford a harness and hoist to replicate the lower gravity, Doc.
Actually, all season long this has felt like a very low-budget series with very few sets and locations. Everything's very contained when you think about it, even though we're supposed to be exploring the solar system.
That's not just an issue with this episode, mind.
No, it's for the whole season. As for this episode, I don't know what it was about this one, but it should have been a very suspenseful and stressful environment with Happy Valley being invaded and all. And yet, Aside from the very first ambush, which was very well done, I have to say, all the other set pieces felt very lackluster.
Plus, we got Marines who shoot to kill one moment and don't the next.
Well, that's just because of who's in the scene, I bet. Realistically, if they're gonna shoot to kill, they should do it everywhere and wipe the Marsies out. They have the numbers and the firepower.
I'm actually amazed both sides are just shooting live rounds. Remember back in Season 2 the damage a handful of stray bullets caused the moon base which wasn't designed to be shot out? Here, bullets hit people and everything around them, and it's all fine, it seems.
Well, aside for those who died.
Yeah, but I'm talking about stray bullets not causing any potential bad damage to the base. Any bullets that breaks through to the outside would be catastrophic. It's not like Mars has a breathable atmosphere.
It is what it is.
And what it is isn't very satisfying, Doc.
You don't have to tell me. I was underwhelmed from the moment I saw Alex and Lilith on his bike. Like, where did they come from? Where were they going? And how did they get out so easily when the base is supposed to be pretty much on lockdown, what with the Helios team having just destroyed the food domes and all?
And that also didn't make any sense. What was the point of doing that since that crisis is now all forgotten as the Marines were on their way with overwhelming force anyway? It's not like Dave and Palmer didn't know they were coming since we saw Palmer talking to the Marine ship last episode. So why blow the food just days before the invasion got there?
It extended the runtime a bit, I guess.
I don't like stories that have such large plot holes, Doc, that you can drive an 18-wheeler through them.
You and me both, McCluck. You and me both.
Right, well, we're just on the doorstep to the finale, and what a struggle it's been to get there. So, that's pretty much all we have to say for this one. Do let us know what you think in the comments, and I'll give you the response you deserve.
And not only have they ignored the lasting effects of being 6 months in 0G, it seems the gravity on Titan is pretty much Earth-like, when it should be about a seventh. A seventh.